Hello slimy fertlers, and we're back once again to have a look and see what's drifted in off the old internet. And this time round we have a video featuring Kathy Griffin of all people. Now for those who don't know, a few months ago American comedian Kathy Griffin got into a bit of bother because she took part in a photo shoot session which basically ended with her holding up a mock-up of Donald Trump's head, which had been cut and it was covered in blood and everything, and there was all sorts of shit about it. Kathy Griffin didn't appreciate the fact that, you know, she can dish it out, but then she has to be able to take it as well. So this video comes from her recent interview on Australia's most popular breakfast time news programme, Sunrise, and let's see how her little interview got on, shall we?
Now she's launching a world tour armed with the story of the now infamous photo.
What they actually mean is that most of the material for this upcoming live tour in Australia will probably be based around her stories of how she was victimised as a result of the photo.
Kathy will perform her Laugh Your Head Off shows in Australia in October.
First off, I didn't know that she wore a wig. Unless that's supposed to be some sort of gag, I really don't know. But yeah, the live tour's coming up for her, which is usual for stand-up comedians to go on live tours. So this is basically just a bit of a promotional piece, but the journalists do kind of dig in and do a fairly good job of getting her to talk about things.
Nothing is off limits. Not even him.
She is, of course, referring to Donald Trump here, which is like I say, I kind of suspect that the vast majority of the material that she will use on this live tour will be based around her experiences following the the infamous severed head picture. This isn't exactly out of character for stand-up comedians to script a lot of their pre-script a lot of their material before live appearances, obviously, so they've got something to work with. Many comedians do this. In fact, I don't think I've ever seen a comedian who doesn't sort of pre-script certain materials before they before they go live. Some of them like to try and stick to the script as best as possible. Some others who are more quick-witted and better at improv will sort of change the way that they do things. But generally, stand-up comedians do have a kind of bullet point list of things that they are going to do during their act. Now, I will say this, I've seen, Kathy Griffin in quite a few things, and on certain occasions she can be, a very funny comedian. She's not very good at the quick wit, but she does have a lot of, sort of decent-ish material. She's not to everybody's taste, but then again, there's no such thing as a perfect comedian. So, anyways, the interview starts proper about here.
And Kathy Griffin joins us now from LA. Kathy, good morning. Welcome to Sunrise.
Hi, you guys. I love that package. By the way, I love that the mask is pixelated as if it's an actual head. I just want to say it was a Trump mask with ketchup.
Okay.
But I think that the Australians can handle that fact.
Okay, so this is where Kathy Griffin gets her first arsehole point. She complains about the fact that they've pixelated out the fake severed head of Donald Trump, which she describes as just a rubber mask covered in tomato ketchup. Yeah, the problem is this programme is being broadcast at 5 to 8 in the morning, which makes it, breakfast television, so that, children and stuff like that can be there. The reason why they've pixelated it out is because, let's face it, it's a rather disturbing image, but also they pixelate it out for the same reason that they don't show clips from slasher and gory horror films. It's because it's actually illegal to show clips of such films on live television at that time of the day for reasons of taste and decency. So for her to think that somehow she's exempt from this just because, it's a rubber head with tomato ketchup on it. No, the horror films, gory scenes in horror films are also made out of rubber and fake blood and tomato ketchup or whatever you want to call it, and they're not allowed to be shown, so neither should the rubber mask with Donald Trump's head or whatever. So yeah, one arsehole point to Kathy there.
Okay, because now it's been 3 months since that photo was taken at a photo shoot. It went viral. We've just heard about the fallout. How are you handling that, and why did you decide to turn this into a show on the road?
Well, for the money, obviously. Stand-up comedians make their living by going round and doing comedy shows, and Kathy Griffin, as a stand-up comedian, is no exception. You can't just expect to sit there for money to fall into your lap. So any time she tries to say that she's doing this for any other reason, she's just talking out of her arse. She's trying to rebuild a career after fucking it up. And she wants money, plain and simple. I very much doubt that, tickets to see her shows are completely fucking free.
Okay, it was such a monumental thing. And remember, it's historic that I would be under a 2-month federal investigation.
Well, it most certainly not is historic or surprising that you were under a 2-month federal investigation, being as that you publicly produced an offensive image related to the current sitting President of the United States of America. There are people who've been investigated by the Secret Service who, incidentally, the Secret Service's entire job description is to protect the President of the United States from any perceived or genuine threat against his life. That's all they do, literally, that's it. They have to make sure that any threat that comes in is investigated. Now, Kathy Griffin's picture was, basically an offensive and rather disturbing image, and they had to make sure that Kathy herself did not have any kind of plans or intentions to cause injury or harm to the president or his family, or that the picture would not inspire other people to do so. This isn't something that's never happened before. There are quite a few people, famous people, who have been investigated by both the FBI and the Secret Service for perceived threats against the the president and the government of the United States of America. For example, John Lennon was investigated because, was it something to do with he had a parrot that he taught to say, right on. So he was investigated to see whether he posed a threat as like a communist infiltrator or something like that. So for Kathy Griffin to try and make herself out as being unique in this respect it's nothing but narcissism.
I mean, keep in mind, this is the fool. I don't even want to call him the president. I just call him the fool or the moron or the Cheeto or something. But
yes, and it is well within your First Amendment rights to call him silly names like that. But it's also well within Donald Trump's First Amendment rights to basically do the same to you, and for expect you to be able to take it as well as you can dish it out, which unfortunately you weren't able to do that, because as soon as people started calling you out on your bullshit, you immediately started crying your eyes out and go, oh, woe is me, woe is me. If you can't take insults and backlash, then don't make it so that people have got an opportunity to do it to you. God's sakes.
Anyway, this is the guy who, while we're having a disastrous Hurricane Harvey and people are dying in Houston and all over Texas, maybe Louisiana, he's spending taxpayer dollars on the Kathy Griffin 2-month federal investigation.
Oh, nice straw man there, Kathy. Oh, yeah. So the event happened 3 months ago. There was a 2-month investigation, and somehow that is connected to the disaster relief for Hurricane Harvey. I think you'll find, Kathy, that neither of those two events have any kind of connection whatsoever. The investigation was basically done and over and done with before Hurricane Harvey showed up, because it only showed up in the past week or so. So again, narcissism, thy name is Kathy Griffin.
So, I'm off the no-fly list, and I can't wait to fly and come see you and tell you the whole story, because it got so crazy that after a while it actually turned funny. So the picture happened, the outrage was ridiculous.
What, you mean the fact that people got a bit pissed off because you produced an image that was both deeply disturbing and offensive is bullshit, is it? Okay then. Remember to tell all the Muslims that the next time they decide to murder somebody for drawing cartoons of their prophet.
I also am having trouble buying this story that I damaged Barron, because I think he's seen stuff way worse than that photo coming out of his own father.
So you really don't care that you upset an 11-year-old boy by producing an image of his father's severed head covered in blood? That is, I have to agree with Melania Trump here, or Ivanka Trump, or whichever one it is, I can never remember, that yes, that kind of thought and behaviour does indeed lead you to question the mental state of the person doing it.
And I wanted to shame him.
You wanted to shame him, and that was your entire point of producing a extremely disturbing and offensive image, and then putting it out for everyone to see. No, Kathy, you didn't do it because you want to shame him. You did it because you wanted fucking attention from other people, and unfortunately, yes, you got your fucking delicious attention, but it wasn't the sort of attention that you wanted, because you thought people would be lining the streets clapping and singing your name, when unfortunately what happened instead was that people saw that you were a complete fucking cunt and called you out on it. And because you got called out on it, you went, "Oh no, please don't victimise me." For fuck's sakes, what kind of fucking world is it where somebody does something as fucking stupid as that and then can't understand what they've fucking done wrong?
And that's what happened. I wanted to make fun of the guy who said to Megyn Kelly, blood coming out of her eyes, blood coming out of her wherever. And I thought, let's take a picture of him with blood coming out of his wherever.
Yeah, but the main difference here is that Donald Trump didn't produce an image of him holding someone's severed head or whatever. I have no idea who Megyn Kelly is, by the way. But you did. You produced a picture of Donald Trump's bloodied severed head, which disturbed not only his 11-year-old son, who, saw the picture and, would have thought his father had been killed. You also disturbed quite a few people on both sides of the political spectrum, because you just wanted the attention. You wanted to be number one on the top of the liberalist, leftist, whatever regressive stack, and it's like I said, you got the attention that you were looking for. It's just that unfortunately the attention wasn't exactly what you're looking for, and when you realised that it wasn't the attention you were looking for, you immediately shit yourself and offered a crocodile tears mealy-mouthed apology on television and on YouTube as well, which unfortunately then it ended up leading to some rather nasty consequences that you didn't foresee from doing it, because you were so obsessed with yourself and your own personal gain that you didn't stop to think about what other people would do as well.
I don't know what his wherever is.
She's talking about his willy.
You were very sorry at the time. You apologised.
Yeah.
You were very upset. Are you no longer sorry for it?
Correct. I'm no longer sorry. The whole outrage was BS. The whole thing got so blown out of proportion, and I lost everybody. Like, I had Chelsea Clinton tweeting against me. I had friends. Deborah Messing from Will and Grace tweeting against me. I mean, I lost everybody.
Yeah, she's still blissfully unaware that that you've fucked up big time when you've got both lefty and righty spectrum members pissed off at you for the same thing. She's learned nothing. She's literally learned nothing from this experience.
And so I have been through the mill, and I also, I didn't just lose like one night on CNN. My entire tour was canceled within 24 hours because every single theater got all these death threats.
Yeah, citation of those death threats needed, please, if you don't mind. The other thing here is that she says about losing work. Yep, she lost a job doing one night's presenting for CNN's New Year's coverage, I believe it was. And you done fucked up when you are a major lefty and CNN drop you from something because of something that you did. Normally you would expect CNN to be laughing and clapping along with you. Unfortunately, they realised pretty quickly that what you'd done was well over the fucking line of taste and decency. The tour was more than likely cancelled simply because nobody wanted to fucking have her on the premises anymore because of what she'd said and done being so distasteful. Especially when she started going on about, Trump's family as well in the aftermath, when she started attacking and saying nasty things about Trump's family as well. If your beef is with Donald Trump, then it should stay with Donald Trump. You shouldn't try and attack him through his family. That's really, really low, and everybody realised that. So she's just trying to play the fucking victim here.
No, you're full of crap. Stop this. You know this. Stop.
Okay, so I snipped a fairly long, boring question out here, but the gist of it was she was asked, do you think that producing an image where you held the bloodied, severed head of Donald Trump up was a little bit outside of the realms of taste and decency? And her response was to say, you're full of crap. I'm really sorry, but that is not professional. She's being interviewed basically to plug her live tour, and they wanted to ask her some questions about the stuff that led up to it and let her promote a live tour. Instead, she responds to them with a direct personal insult. Sorry, but at that point I would have concluded the interview and would never have had her on the network again until she apologised for it.
Stop acting like my little picture is more important than talking about the actual atrocities that the President of the United States is committing.
Atrocities like what, Kathy? No, come on, seriously, like what? Where are all the death camps that we were told that, you know, Donald Trump would set up, you know, basically so he could put, you know, immigrants and homosexuals and stuff like that in so that they could be gassed or deported or whatever? They don't exist. Donald Trump has not stripped anyone of their human rights. Donald Trump has not incarcerated his political enemies. Donald Trump has not ordered mass executions or mass displacement of persons, anything like that. He's not led, he's not allowed famine to occur. He's not done anything at all that could be described as an atrocity. So at this point, Kathy is talking completely out of her fucking arse to push basically she's doing the literally Hitler argument, and it's not worked for a long time and it never will work.
And I'm also on a mission to tell people, honestly, if it happened to me, as big mouth and obnoxious as I am, it can happen to you. Like, honestly, this is a big change.
Well, yeah, being forced to accept the consequences of your actions is something that everyone is held to, not just Kathy Griffin. Kathy Griffin seems to think that she's the only person who's ever been taken to task after she's done something so monumentally stupid that everybody took a dislike to her immediately for it.
I've been talking to Australians who, for the first time, are saying, we're afraid to go to America.
Bullshit.
I never thought I would hear that in my lifetime.
Well, it's a good thing that you haven't heard it then, Kathy, isn't it?
I'm 56 years old. I'm a female comedian. How many successful female comedians?
Joan Rivers, Lucille Ball, Dawn French, Jennifer Saunders, Shopee Sandy, Sarah Millican, Jo Brand, Jenny Eclair, just to name a few.
I mean, who can stand there with a microphone with nothing but their own material they wrote themselves.
Well, that knocks Amy Schumer out of the running then, doesn't it?
And if you think I haven't dealt with sexism and misogyny, you can't imagine.
No, Kathy, that's called heckling. If you can't take heckling, then maybe being a live stand-up comedian probably isn't the career for you. Try sticking with sitcoms and films. Right, that's where I'm leaving it for this video. Basically, the remainder of the interview just goes on where the male host of the programme gives Kathy the opportunity to tell a joke, and what she does in response is to tell an extremely long, drawn-out and extremely unfunny kind of you had to be there joke about Taylor Swift. So there we go, before, you know, plug in a live show a few more times. So yeah, Kathy Griffin, I hope she has good luck with her tour. Unfortunately though, something tells me that her tour's not going to go down too well in Australia, because Australians are renowned for not taking shit, and Australian audiences have some of the best hecklers in history, and I've seen anyway. There's some of them that have gone toe to toe with people like Billy Connolly, and you know, they haven't escaped unscathed, but they've done quite well against him. So I just want to see some of the hecklers that she gets in the live tour here, provided of course they don't screen the audience to make sure that you know, hecklers and shitlords aren't allowed in to call her on a bullshit. Anyways, thank you for watching. If you want to subscribe, like, comment, whatever, do that. That'd be groovy. Also follow me on Twitter and VidMe if you'd like. And if you're feeling extra generous, please feel free to donate to my PayPal. Any donations are welcome and received with great thanks. And if you've made it this far, I'd just like to ask, what about the quality of the audio? I now have a proper microphone, which I got very, very cheaply, with thanks to Fuckwad for donating some money to me to get it. I hope the audio quality has improved in this particular video, and if it hasn't, let me know what the problem is and I'll see if I can sort it out. Anyway, once again, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.